on and join us. I'm also going to ask you to be thinking about topics for the annual meeting, things that you're interested about in the township that you would like to see an annual meeting address. And of course, we're always looking for members of the board, but I think I just talked you all out of it by saying that once you get on, you can never leave. I want you to know that you can watch for a couple of things on our website. We are going to be revamping our website. It is still going to be at the same old address, bathhomeowners.org, but you're going to see a site that's easier to maneuver through. Hopefully, by the end of the year, you are going to be able to pay for your membership online. And we're going to start doing email blasts. If you are a member and you have ever given us your email, we are going to let you know if there are public meetings, if there are legal notices, anything like that that have been posted by the Bath Township so that you know about it. If you do not wish to get those blasts, all you have to do is reply and let us know and we'll take you off the list. But this is something that's going to be proactive. It will require nothing on your part. Okay, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce Bob Hubeck, again, one of our stalwart leaders who is going to be your master of ceremonies tonight.
Good evening. I've got a list of things that I'm supposed to talk about. The first one is the League of Women Voters were supposed to run this meeting, but unfortunately they could not do that tonight. So that's why you got me. Second thing, I'm supposed to give a brief history of Bath homeowners. I'm going to start in 1942 when we started and give you a blow by blow up to the day. To relax, it's going to take about an hour and a half. Joanne left one thing out. One of the things the homeowners also does, if you have a house in Bath and you have that little pole in front of your house that has your address on it, we provide those poles to the township, and those get more expensive every year. So we do need those coming in so we can keep providing those types of services. We have program rules. All the candidates have been informed of the program rules. I'm going to inform you of your rules. Okay, first of all, this is not a debate. Okay, it's not a debate. It's an open forum where they can discuss their feelings, what they're doing, why they should vote for them, anything they want to talk about. Somebody wants to tell you how to bake bread, they can do that. It's their time. They get 3 minutes. If you have questions, don't yell them out. Raise your hand. Someone in the back will bring you a piece of paper. Write your questions down. We bring them up here, and this way they'll go through the questions and try to make sure that we're not asking the same question 16 different ways, that we get some continuity of the questions. If you are the type that wants to yell and scream and make it a debate, we will ask you to leave twice. Third time, we won't ask. We'll just make sure you leave. So please behave yourself in a proper decorum. Let's see what else we want to do. All right. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the candidates. Are you going? First person we're going to have is Laura Tuttle. I'll read her name backwards maybe, and she'll start, and then we'll move right down the line, if that's the way you set it up.
Can you hear me? All right. Thank you all for being here today. I know some of you already, and some of you I'm seeing for the first time tonight. I am running unopposed for fiscal officer, but wanted to share a little bit about myself and my background. I was appointed to the vacant fiscal officer seat in 2024 by the Bath Trustees. I grew up in the area. My husband and I are both Revere graduates. Our 2 daughters will actually be 4th generation Revere students. After graduating from Revere, I went on to earn a bachelor's degree from Baldwin Wallace in accounting and business administration, a double major. And I currently serve, in addition to being the fiscal officer, I am the director of HR operations at Highland Software, which is a large global technology company. I'm also the treasurer of my daughter's Girl Scout troop, which meets right here at Bath Church, and the treasurer of the Rocky Mountain International Horse Association, which is a nonprofit, and most importantly, a room parent at Richfield Elementary. In all of these things, key priorities for me are fiscal responsibility, integrity, and transparency. I do look forward to continuing to serve as Beth's fiscal officer for the remainder of this term and hopefully into the future as well.
Stepping on the cord. All right. Are we going to come down this direction? Next person is Sharon. Trakey.
Good evening. Thank you for attending this evening. I moved to Bath Township 40 years ago when I married my husband, John. I was 12. John's parents moved their family to Bath when he was 8 years old, and he never left. The township, that is, not his parents. After 24 years in the private sector and corporate America, I ran for township fiscal officer in 2007 and served for 14 years in that role. Learning cash-based fund accounting in the public sector was a challenge, but once I grasped it after a few years, I realized it's more straightforward than corporate finance and promotes transparency. As fiscal officer, I immersed myself in the history, operations, and finances of the Bath Township, overseeing taxpayer dollars with care because I am a taxpayer too. Under my tenure, the township earned 14 successful audits with no citations or findings. Wanting to do more for our community and employees, I took on projects that helped us grow and capture a new vision. With our dedicated staff, I completed the following: restructured the external audit committee, established online payment options for zoning fees, spearheaded and oversaw the upgrade of a 13-year-old financial software system, led the remodeling of the trustee meeting room during COVID with upgraded audio video equipment to enhance public meetings via Zoom, which still hold today. Secured a Bath Community Fund grant for ADA compliant door openers at the Bath Center building. Negotiated a new EMS billing provider, improving services and reducing our collective fees to the township. Created the annual electronics recycling event, now in its 5th year. After 14 years as fiscal officer, I sought a new challenge because I was not done serving my community. I was elected to a trustee seat in 2021. The past 4 years have deepened my knowledge and appreciation for township government, especially for Bath. Each year, the board president presents goals for the coming year. As president, I am proud that most of my goals were accomplished or are nearing completion, including forming a JED advisory committee to review JED fund uses originally proposed in 2000, reviewing the Gent Cleveland-Maslin Road corridor, which led to a 13-member comprehensive land use plan committee, expanding online payments to include service department permits and park fees. Reestablishing the annual employee appreciation picnic, coordinating crisis communication training for Bath Township and surrounding communities, serving as township representative for the first Suns Out, Funds Out event. Oh, okay.
All right. Standing in the back, you can't hear a thing. James McMillan is also a candidate running. And are you on? Check.
Good evening. I'm James McClellan. I'm a proud Bath resident, a decorated combat veteran, and a candidate to be your next Bath Township trustee. I grew up just a few miles from here, and like many of you, I learned to swim at Montrose Swim and Tennis, skied at Boston Mills, and earned my Eagle Scout rank camping at Camp Manitowoc. My grandmother lived on Sun Valley Drive, and my wife, Lisa, attended Bath Elementary. I even worked for the county engineer at the Iowa Road Workhouse. My values were shaped by these experiences, and they include family values such as hard work, faith, and service. They also include community values such as stewardship, heritage preservation, and neighborliness, all of which are hallmarks of this township. One of these values resonated with me as a young man. I realized the value of service wasn't just a duty, but a calling. That mindset led me to college, and then to follow in the footsteps of my grandfather and my father to serve our nation, and I was commissioned a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. My first assignment was the Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. That was the beginning of a 32-year journey serving on 3 continents, leading diverse teams managing complex processes. I oversaw operations which included management of vehicle and aircraft fleets, land use and infrastructure planning, fire and police related policies and training. Promotion to colonel brought a focus on strategic planning and programming and budgeting. While serving, I earned 3 master's degrees, thereby sharpening my ability to approach challenges with fresh insight, skills essential for thoughtful and effective management. Throughout this journey, Lisa and I raised 2 boys, Connor and Ethan, and I'm proud to say both are serving their nation as members of the United States Army and the United States Navy, respectively. When I retired, Lisa and I had the freedom to live anywhere in the United States, but we chose Bath Township, not simply because of the green spaces and the convenient location, but because of the people. From the moment we arrived, the warmth and neighborly spirit of this community made it clear this was our forever home. I was fully retired, and it was just Lisa and me, and I needed to build a network of connections from the ground up. So I rolled up my sleeves and got involved, joining several local organizations, and it wasn't long before I stepped into leadership roles in these organizations. Today, I serve on multiple boards, including the president of Discover Bath Barnes, vice president of the Bath Business Association, and I was a member of the Comprehensive Plan Committee. Looking at the audience, I see more than just neighbors. I see a community guided by tradition, but ready for a fresh perspective. You want a trustee who has proven record of accomplishments for success, unmatched leadership experience, and dedicated community engagement. I am that leader. I know how to turn purpose into progress. That's why I'm running for trustee. And in November, vote for McClellan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Sean Gaffney's next.
Daphne starts, if I could just remind everybody to turn off your cell phones, at least silence them so that we don't have that distraction. Thank you.
Well, good evening. I'm Sean Gaffney, a lifelong Bath resident and current Bath Township trustee running for re-election. First, thank you to all involved in this candidates night, including the Bath Homeowners Association, the Bath Church, other candidates, everyone in attendance. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 63 years old, a second-generation resident born and raised in Bath. In 1984, I graduated from St. Vincent College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Moved back home, bought a house, got married, raised a son, Colin, now 26 years old. In 2019, after 34 years, I retired as an administrator from the Summit County Board of Elections. In 2021, I was elected to my first term as a Bath trustee and began serving in 2022. Later that year, my wife of 30 years, Jenny, died after a courageous battle with breast cancer. Having grown up in Bath, I know firsthand some of the challenges we have faced over the decades, and I'm excited to be part of the future of this unique community. Prior to becoming a trustee, I served as a volunteer member for 20 years on the Bath Trustees Advisory Council, the Heritage Corridors of Bath, and the Bath Barnes Social Committee. Today, I continue to serve on those committees, as well as the Bath Memorial Day Committee, and I'm a member of the Bath Business Association and Homeowners Association. I have always been and will continue to be a committed supporter of what's best for Bath. Being one of your trustees has been an invaluable leadership experience, and one I'll build upon for the next 4 years. I will continue to be fiscally conservative and responsible with public tax dollars. I'll also keep a watchful eye on how property tax legislation will affect the operations of our township, especially township services important to our quality of life, including police, fire, roads, parks, zoning, and administration. The updated Bath Township Comprehensive Plan will be my land use guide in conjunction with our zoning regulations to maintain the rural character of Bath. I'll continue to support our park system and work towards enhanced family-friendly gathering spaces, such as the North Fork Preserve Project and the Bath Community Park improvements. I promise to be open, honest, approachable, and responsive to the needs of Bath Township residents and to listen to all sides before making a decision. I will be a voice for Bath Township residents, working with anybody to address their concern. Thank you.
Thank you. we are going to move into our question at this point. If you have questions and haven't written them down, raise your hand and someone will come and hand you a piece of paper to write the question. We'll get them up here so we get them answered. Have questions already? We're going to get it started right now.
Okay, Ms. Tuttle, do you support the move for public notices and legal advertisements from print to electronic notification? How much money does the township save with this change as a gross amount? How much net savings does the township realize factoring in clerical website and IT costs?
I am supportive of this change because I feel that it is green and good for the environment. I do not have the amount that the township would save from it, but I'm happy to calculate that and share it with the person who's asked.
Great. Okay, thank you. Currently, the full Bath Township budget is not found on the township website. Are you in favor of making this document public and easily located on the website? If so, will you head a project to add the budget under an identifying tab to the website?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Tuttle, requests for bids currently are listed on the township's website under your office's menu tab. Would you support listing financial office notices and with other township notices under one tab, the general public notices, legal advertisements on the homepage so that they're all easier to find?
I'm not opposed to that as long as it is compliant.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Tuttle, I guess you're off the hook. Okay. Okay, these are questions that the audience would like all three of the trustee candidates to answer, please. And we'll start this time with you, Ms. Troike. Knowing that the dangerous intersections at Bath and Hametown, Granger and Medina Line are governed by the county's engineer, how will you advocate for the safety of our drivers at these two intersections?
We have reached out several times to the county engineer's office asking for intervention for us. We have asked for flashing lights. We have asked for a four-way stop. We have asked for multiple things. Our administrator, Mr. Snapley, who's also a police chief, has sent a crash report most recently for the Granger and Medina Line Road intersection to try to appeal to the county engineer's office to do something, because our hands are tied and it is extremely frustrating for us as township trustees to be told time and time and time again that it doesn't meet our criteria, but we are pursuing that.
Thank you. Mr. McClellan?
Thank you. As if any of you have read my website or looked at any of my literature, safety is my number one focus, safety and security of the folks in the township, and this is right in line with it. As I've gone around and talked to citizens of the township, not only are the intersections a concern, but also is speeding. And as this is a priority, I absolutely believe that there is a path forward to find a solution. And that's my focus would be to coordinate, collaborate, and communicate with the right folks at the right organizations, such as Sharon mentioned a little bit ago, but we need to do something positive. There needs to be a more concrete answer to the solution. Me personally, while I could get involved in it as a trustee, I'd give the opportunity for the township administrator to take that on, but I would not have a problem talking to the right elected officials or appropriate officials at the county engineer, Ohio Department of Transportation, to be able to take this up on behalf of the citizens.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gaffney?
This is a really good question, and I echo a lot of what Mrs. Troike said. The Bath Board of Trustees has worked with our township administration, our township administrator, to coordinate those two intersections. Bath and Hametown, Granger, and Medina Line are both county roads. The Medina Line and Granger are unique a little bit because it shares with Medina County. Medina's been a little bit more responsive, their county engineer, than the Summit County engineer to our concerns. The roads are dangerous. We've asked the county engineer to put simple stop signs, blinking lights, a low cost safety measure. To this point, we have not gotten anywhere. The county engineer has not been acquiescent to our request, unfortunately. The other concern that I have there along safety is roadside mowing. In intersections, it's important. I worked with another township in Summit County, and we worked through the Township Association of Summit County on roadside mowing. Intersections, it's very important for public safety for those to be mowed. They're not being mowed as much, and we'll continue to make that a top priority.
Thank you. Okay, the next question, again, for all three of our candidates. Let's start with you, Mr. McClellan. What do you think is the most pressing need in Bath Township?
Thank you. The biggest concern that I have is revenue disruption with regards to property tax reform. And there's a lot of information out there for us to follow, and quite frankly, it's complex. Whether it's a House bill, whether it's a bipartisan property tax working group, or even that Summit County has a county issue 2 that you'll find on the ballot when you go vote today. Like I did, I voted today. I think those are all issues that we need to pay attention to, and we need to be well-informed citizens on what exactly is going on. As a township trustee, or even as a concerned citizen, I'm more than happy to help people gain that information. But I think what we should do in Bath Township is find ways that what we have control in. What proactive steps are we prepared to take to be prepared for any sort of change in the property tax system? And I'll just give you a couple examples. We could conduct a fiscal impact assessment. That could be something as simple as, or something as looking back a couple of years on what our spending habits were, and maybe forecasting what we in the next 3 to 5 years or what our spending habits. We could model revenue scenarios and try to get an idea of what we think our spending habits are. Then we could review that, prioritize our essential services based upon that. Define core services that must be protected under this particular funding model. Maybe we need to consider shared services or agreements. Look at audit existing levies and carryover balances, improve public communication and transparency. I think that's the most important thing. If we would go forward on this type of activity, we need to make sure that we're communicating with the public and being as transparent as possible.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gaffney, what do you think is the most pressing need of Bath Township?
One of the most pressing needs of Bath Township is continuing our financial responsibility, and we do a very good job in that. We have budget meetings, we review the budget, and Bath is in a very good state right now. If I would have to say the state of the township, this isn't the state of the township. We're in good financial shape, to be honest. We have open meetings where we discuss the budget. I am concerned, which I'm sure a lot of people are, about the pressing property tax, the constitutional amendment to eliminate property taxes. We may be having a different discussion if it offered alternative, but the constitutional amendment does not offer an alternative. That is a major concern right now. I would like to see it go away. I don't know it will. We need to pay attention to that. Another issue we have as far as the budget goes, we're looking at an aging fire station. If anybody drives by the Bath Fire Station, it's an L shape. We have trucks coming at each other from different angles. Newer fire stations are built with drive-through bays. More modern. We've seen from COVID, bunk areas aren't necessarily the best way to go. We don't necessarily think about this all the time, but our first responders need protection. We need them to be available for us, honestly, during times. Hopefully we don't have another pandemic anytime soon, but the fire station is a big budget concern. Thank you.
Okay, this question is for our current trustees. Oh, Sharon, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Same question. Well, I would. Yeah. Okay. What do you think is the most pressing need for Bath Township?
I think the most pressing need immediately for Bath Township and for all townships in the state of Ohio is the grassroots effort of very well-intentioned residents who have gotten hit by these extensive property tax evaluations. I think we all have felt that pain in this room. So this grassroots effort was born out of that. They got the attention of a few legislators at the state level. And now there is this push to eliminate property taxes. And I am not trying to insult anybody in this room at all. But if you don't understand what that means, it truly in the long run, if it passes, means that the township form of government will probably dissolve because 95% of our revenue comes from property taxes for police, fire, roads, service, parks, general operations. If that goes away, there will be no one there to answer your 911 call. There will be no one there to plow your street in the wintertime. There will be no one there to just do general services for your township, for our township. And I cannot tell you how much this pains me and stresses me. So that is our immediate need. And as township trustees, whoever this board ends up being, along with Mrs. Goodrich, we have the obligation to inform and help residents understand what this means for us going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I think as a follow-on to that question, and we'll start with you, Mr. Gaffney, how do you plan on preparing for changes in how the township is funded?
If the constitutional amendment passes?
That's what I'm assuming they're getting at here.
That's a good question. There's a lot of unknowns there. If the constitutional amendment qualifies for the ballot, they get enough signatures, it gets on the ballot, and passes, townships, and there's different opinions on when it would take effect, whether it's immediately or the following year. We collect property taxes in arrears. Would it collect for another year? So we may have a little bit of leeway. There's been talk it could go to the Supreme Court of Ohio. But how would Bath operate? Some of those ideas, if it's a year we have property taxes that we can collect for, that's a year we have time to buy. If not, I do think the state would have to step in. Townships follow the Ohio Revised Code, and there's 1,308 townships in Ohio, and the state would have to allow it. I could speculate on a lot of different things, and this is purely speculation. If it passed and the state doesn't do its job, we would lose 95% of our essential services. We would be forced into some really things I really don't want to think about. It could be a merger. It could be the state allows an income tax. It could be a number of other things that we just really don't know about yet. But I hope they don't get enough signatures. And but if they do, those are the things we're looking at. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McClellan, same question.
Thank you. Yeah, it's almost a follow-on from the last discussion. So changes in the funding. So again, the analysis, how are we spending? How do we think we're going to spend? How can we find ways to cost cut or take out non-value added tasks while we're still maintaining a high level of service. How do we diversify our portfolio? And that's very difficult to do because the Ohio Revised Code really defines what a township, the revenue streams for a township. But if we had a more diverse portfolio and the authorities to do that, and maybe from the state, then we would have a better chance of maintaining our way of life. Because really what we're talking about is maintaining our way of life, maintaining safety and security and all those essential services that we enjoy. I like the idea of getting people together to find ways, collective ways for us to find solutions for us. And, one way of doing that is just communicating with the public, whether that's through a committee, an ad hoc committee, maybe there's an existing committee like the audit committee that we could get together and have a conversation with the township. There are outstanding individuals and there's really smart folks in this township, and they're going to come up with some ideas if we work together. I think if we can control what we can control, let's control it in a way that makes sense for Bath Township.
Thank you. Ms. Tricky.
Okay, so the question is, how will this change how we are funded,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Well, we aren't in charge of that. The state is in charge of that. And unfortunately, this group of grassroots citizens who have caught the ear of legislators don't have an alternative funding source to make up for property tax collections. So we as a township, as a government entity, we don't have the luxury or the freedom to go out and go into the private sector to invest our money. We just don't. The ORC, Ohio Revised Code, is very specific as to how you can invest your funds, how you can invest your money. So this is why this is creating such angst at the township level, because all 1,308 townships in the state of Ohio are going to be affected by this. We probably have at this point in our lives, as what we have on record with cash, maybe to be able to operate for 2 more years beyond our not being funded anymore through property taxes. But beyond that, our hands are tied because we are a public entity and we are a township. So there we go. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be the naysayer and the doomsday person, but that's the reality of this situation, and we have to get the word out.
Thank you. This is a question for our two current trustees, Mr. Gaffney and Ms. Troike. Let's start with you, Mr. Gaffney. How many times have you voted no on a motion or resolution in the last year? It appears the board has no healthy discussion and that those votes are all pre-planned.
I have, to the best of my knowledge, never voted no. And I was thinking about this the other day. All our meetings are public meetings. We have a work session every Monday morning, 4 times a month for 12 months. We have a mid-month meeting and a monthly meeting for another 24. That's 72 public meetings we have every year. That said, they're all open. We get very little participation. That said, our Monday morning work sessions, we do get a lot done. That's where we hash out a lot of differences. It's maybe different than other townships. I've heard other townships in my first 4 years, they operate differently. They don't do work sessions. I value the work session. I think it's important that you can hash out. I think it makes a monthly meeting go much smoother. Do I have differences with the other trustees? You can just ask them anytime you want. I do. Am I flexible in some of my decisions? Yes. I've learned over my career that can't always be Sean's way. We have to work together to come to a resolution. It happens in the work session. Thank you.
Ms. Troike?
This is a great question. I love it. I don't know how many times I have voted no in the past year. I have voted no in the past in my total almost 4 years as a trustee. I don't always agree with Mrs. Goodrich and Mr. Gaffney, as he has said. And I do really encourage the public. These are public meetings every single Monday morning, unless it's a Monday holiday, and then it's pushed to Tuesday. We have a work session, and honestly, those work sessions are 3 hours usually, because we really get into the thick of it and we debate and we argue at times and we pat each other on the back at the times. And that's what, and I understand both sides of this. If you go to another township, you may see a very lengthy public trustee meeting because they hash it out. Well, we hash it out too, just in a different format, because we do that on a Monday morning, not at a trustee meeting that is officially on our website as a trustee meeting, although the work sessions are too. So please, 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 please come to our work sessions if you have questions or concerns or what have you. Public input is not accepted at our work sessions, but you are more than welcome to attend. And I think I speak on behalf of Mr. Gaffney and myself that anytime you have a question, please call us at the office. Please hunt us down. You know where we live. Thank you.
Thank you. This next question, I think, is a bit of a follow-on to what you just said, Ms. Troike, and we'll start with you, Mr. McClellan. How committed are you to responding to homeowners' calls and emails and so forth? And how long should it take for the trustees to provide a response to those inquiries?
Yeah, thank you. One thing that I think about the townships, they're unlike other bureaucracies or municipalities, where townships offer face-to-face engagement with decision makers, and it makes it uniquely situated to address complex and locally specific challenges, whether it's a telephone call or an email. I think it's best when residents show up, speak out, and collaborate on issues like we've talked about tonight: land use, safety, stewardship, and that's how townships thrive. Now, getting to your question, I think we need to be very responsive. I think as a trustee and as an elected official, especially when we're making decisions on spending taxpayers' money, we need to really engage with the community. And that means being very responsive as we possibly can, with a telephone call, email, going and talking to you at the coffee shop, or having to sit down at the township administration building. I don't think we can do what we do without good communication, good collaboration with the township citizens.
Thank you. What about you, Ms. Troike, on that question? How long should it take?
It shouldn't take more than a day, to be honest. Unless I am in the hospital on life support, it shouldn't take more than a day. And I say that jokingly, but not really jokingly. I will tell you this, I detest having a text conversation or an email back and forth. I would much rather meet with people in person, one-on-one, because you can glean so much more from being face to face with people. You read their body language, you understand their frustration, you can sense their frustration. And if I'm available, I will absolutely do that. And with regard to how long should it take, you should hear from me within a day. And then we can go to the next level.
Thank you. Mr. Gaffney?
That's a good question. People who know me have my cell phone number. And if you're in the audience today and would like my cell phone number, I'm not going to broadcast it on 330 to go. But afterwards, ask me, I will give you my cell phone number. People who have supported me through signs or whatever, I get their cell phone number. They have my contact information. I do respond quicker to text than I do emails. And that's me personally. There's 3 trustees. We have administration in Bath Township. We have office hours. We have a township administrator, and we have an administration, which I think is second to none. I'm very proud of our township administration. If you can't reach me or another trustee, our administrators are there too. We do take it seriously, and I honestly don't think we have a big problem with communication in Bath. And if we do, please reach out to me afterwards, and I'd like to address it. Thank you.
Thank you. This question is for all three of you, and I think we'll start with you, Ms. Troike. The questioner says, I grew up in Bath and I returned 15 years later as an adult. Bath is considerably less walkable and bikeable than when I grew up. Neighbors are less connected and we are way less connected to school. How do you plan to make Bath safer for teenagers and adults to live in and be active?
So we are in the final stages of our comprehensive land use plan committee findings. And one of the things that this ferreted out was we don't have walkable areas. And specifically, the two things that were pointed out were, excuse me, the two hamlets of Bath. And this is a master plan given, okay? But it's a goal. It's something that we can look at going into the future. And Bath honestly does not lend itself to sidewalks other than specific areas like Olentangy off of Revere Road. Those types of areas, we do not have sidewalks because we are such a rural area. And that's one of the things we love. And then there are people who, that's one of the things they don't like, excuse me, because we have houses that are so far spread apart. So there are areas of Bath that are very walkable. There are areas that are not. But in our master plan going forward, we would like to try to connect those areas with sidewalks. The township cannot do this financially by itself. This would have to be through grants. It would have to be through private investors, private business owners who want to put in sidewalks, that type of thing. But I would love that as well. I think that that's very important.
Mr. McClellan, would you answer that question as well, please?
Yeah, thank you. So one of those assignments that we had when I was in the Air Force was in England, and we lived in a place called Newmarket. Now, Newmarket it's a big horse racing town. They had pathways for the horses that went right through the town, but they also had walkways and paths for people, and they were used all the time. People would walk to the shops, they'd walk to the pubs. So when you mentioned walkability, that's the immediate vision that came in my mind. The Comprehensive Plan Committee, I was on that committee, we talked a great deal about how to make certain areas of our township walkable, more approachable, and specifically the hamlets of Gent, maybe a little bit of Bath Center, and then Hammond's Corners. I think the vision is in the comprehensive plan that just got approved this year. But what you've got to do is take that vision and make it a reality. And within the comprehensive plan, there was an idea, a proposal to create an implementation entity, a committee, to take those ideas and make them into reality. I think that as a trustee, I would try to find ways to make that implementation committee to have the authority that it needs to make that comprehensive plan a reality, to include the ideas of walkability and walkabilities within the hamlets of themselves. So thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gaffney?
It's a really good question. Walkability, moving back into the community after 15 years. Growing up in Bath, I was more of a runner than I am today. And I used to take my dog with me off leash on the roads, Bath Road, Shade Road, Cleveland Maslin Road, Gent Hills Road. I grew up in that neighborhood. I didn't worry about traffic. Bath has developed quite a bit. The first comprehensive plan came about as a result of the Firestone estate going up for sale. I think that's a big turning point in Bath's history, and we're looking in that time frame of 15 years. We're in our third iteration of the comprehensive plan. Things in Bath have changed. We have Montrose now. We have a lot more traffic. I do think Bath, for the most part, is built out. We do have sidewalk areas like Mrs. Troike mentioned in the southeast corner of the township. But if you go to the northwest part of the township, we have a much more rural diversity. We have a big diversity in Bath. And that's a good thing. We're a welcoming community. What that does for walkability, in today's thing, we identified in the current iteration of the comprehensive plan, 5 areas of concern. Gent, the 77 interchange, Hammond's Corners, a couple other areas too. But when we look at walkability, it's a challenge in Bath, but we're fortunate. We're very fortunate. We have a lot of good parks. We have the nature preserve. We can expand on that, and that's part of our park plan and why I support our park network and connecting them more to get people off the streets, because our streets, and we talked about the intersections, can be very dangerous, and I just caution everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. This next question is for all three, and it's a pretty lengthy one, so I'll just read what's here. And we'll start with our current trustees. We'll start with you, Mr. Gaffney, then Ms. Troike, and then finally, Mr. McClellan, if you'll also answer at least part of the question. Who had the final say in granting the variances for the corner provisions project? The commercial developments along the street there all have a larger footprint than the township zoning regulations allow because of variances. Who allowed that to happen and why? Why have regulations only to throw them away and negate future enforcement of zoning regulations? You intend to hold our regulations, hold on to them, especially under the new zoning plan and in the overlays. Why do builders seem to tell the township what the rules are rather than the other way around? Are you committed to the preservation of the heritage of the Bath community rather than selling out to commercialism?
Wow.
I know, it's a lot.
I tried to make as many notes as I could so I can answer each one of those questions.
Start with the final say on the variance for the corner provisions. Let's start there.
So a little bit about township government. I'll address that. The trustees do approve the zoning code. We approve the comprehensive plan. That said, we have 3 zoning boards: the ARC, the BZA, and the zoning commission. The township approves the zoning code, updates to the zoning code. We approve the comprehensive plan. Once those are in place, there's a lot of perfunctory functions of government that township do, but we allow the zoning regulations to go to our zoning commissions. And to be honest with you, we're very fortunate. We have a lot of good people, a lot of qualified people on those boards. I would challenge anyone to actually just come up to me and we'll talk afterwards if you'd like to, about the quality of candidate people we have on our zoning boards. We vet them. They come from vast backgrounds of expertise that I can't match. So that said, it would go through the process that the zoning board would approve what's permitted. I think that was a B1 zoning regulation. They did get a variance from the BZA on size. The township had put in, I believe it was a 3,000 square foot maximum. They did exceed that. That was granted. As a matter of fact, that was put in for a purpose, and I don't know that the purpose has ever been met. Every time a variance has been asked for to exceed the 3,000 feet, it's been approved. So it's a very good question. The final say in zoning matters lies with the BZA. The township approves the regulations. We leave it to our zoning boards to do the enforcement. Thank you.
Ms. Troike, okay, who had the final say? And why do you believe builders seem to tell the township what the rules are rather than the other way around, to sort of cut through some of this?
Okay, that's a lot to unpack, but I'll try. So to echo in part what Mr. Gaffney said, excuse me. We, as the Board of Trustees, appoint members to our 3 zoning committees. One is the Bath Zoning Appeals. One is the Appearance Review Commission, and one is the Zoning Commission. And I am not one who wants to stand there and attend every meeting and oversee these people who we've appointed. We have given them the task of doing their job. And I think it's intimidating for us to attend all of those meetings. If there is a question with a variance, it goes to the BZA. They're extremely intelligent group of people. They know what they're doing, and we need to trust them. Otherwise, why do we appoint them? And their say is final. And I don't have a problem with trusting the people that we have interviewed thoroughly and vetted thoroughly to do their job. That is what their job is. And to oversee them or look over their shoulder is insulting. And it takes away from what their power is to do what they need to do.
Okay, thank you. I think sort of as a follow-on to this, and we'll move on, Mr. McClellan, and I'm going to put the question to you a little differently, and then the other two can answer as well. Sort of as a follow-on to that, are you committed to the preservation of the heritage of the Bath community rather than selling out? And as part of that, share your thoughts on the pros and cons of the Sheetz gas station at Gent Road and 77.
Yes, thank you. So committed to responsible growth and preservation. So if you guys don't know by now, I'm the guy that created the Discover Bath Barns Committee. And the idea behind that committee was to preserve and enhance the heritage of the township through the lens of the barns. And so we created that committee, and from that, we've done a lot of great things with it within the community. And I'm also a member of the Heritage Quarters of Bath Committee. So yes, I am absolutely focused and responsible growth, but the preservation of the township is the question asked. But with regards to the fire station was the second part of the question.
No, the gas station, the
Oh, the
Sheetz
gas station, right.
at Gent Road and 77.
Here's what I'll say about that's a particularly interesting part. Now the gas station is I'll echo what my fellow candidate said about the zoning code. One thing that I like about the township, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, it's township has the ability to gather people to solve problems. And in this particular case, the zoning commission is the group that gathers together to solve the problems. Now, I've attended many of these zoning commission meetings, and these are groups of folks, diverse backgrounds within the township, and they are dedicated and focused on finding the best solution for our zoning code. And if you haven't been to one of these, please go. They want to hear your comments. They absolutely want to hear what you have to say, because you're going to come up with an idea and it's going to generate another idea. And the next thing you know, we're going to have a better zoning code than we had in the past. But with regards to the station, that is yet to be determined, but part of that will be determined by what comes out of the zoning commission with the zoning code. Thank you.
Mr. Gaffney?
I've been on the Heritage Quarters of Bath before I became a trustee for 20 years. I still participate on that. I'm committed to Bath Township. To say that change never happens, I'd lie to you. I can't do that today. Some change is inevitable, and I'm going to focus on that B1 property we're talking about, that's zone B1 at the corner of Interstate 77 and Gent Road. I think that was part of your question. B1 allows certain permitted uses and certain conditional uses. A gas station in a B1 district is a conditional use. I don't profess to be an expert on the zoning code, but I will say that it is a conditional use. That means the B1 district, you could develop like Hammett's Corners. It could be developed a little bit like Gent. Gent started off as B1, it's B5. B5 came along as a result of the hamlets. The Heritage Corridor started the hamlets. So we have the hamlet of Hammett's Corners, Gent, and Bath Center. The Sheetz gas station, we don't know what's going to happen, to be honest with you. In my quote for the Bath Country Journal, I laid out the overlay district. And I know there's people in the audience this is near and dear to. And I got to be quick because I got 30 seconds. So to be honest with you, We had a rezoning in that area and we had no plan in place. We didn't approve the rezoning. The overlay offers an option. That's all it offers. In its current form, it would reduce the commercial area in favor of single-family detached housing. And I'd be happy to talk to anybody afterwards about that.
Thank you. So it's kind of two parts, but following on what was discussed previously, are you committed to the preservation of the heritage of Bath community rather than selling out to commercialism? And share your thoughts on the pros and cons of the Sheetz gas station at Gent and 77.
Yes, I'm absolutely committed to protecting and preserving the rural heritage of Bath Township. And I think that we have this opportunity to put in place an overlay district. And although it looks ugly initially, it would ultimately protect those people and those residents down the road who may be impacted by commercial development. This is our opportunity to control how much growth there is and where it goes. Do I want a Sheetz there? I don't know. I don't know. Do you know? I mean, you probably do know. That's why you've asked the question. But the point being is, if it's not a Sheetz, what else would it be? Would it be a big box store, which would be perfectly allowed in that position, in that situation, in that location? I'm not saying that we should settle, but I'm saying that we need to weigh the consequences of our knee-jerk reaction. And I'm really interested in an overlay district. We have not done this before. We need to take the time to review it to make sure that we do it right, because what I don't want to happen is for us to come back in a year, 2 years, 5 years and go, oh, we woulda, shoulda, coulda, and we didn't. So we need to be very careful in how we do this.
Okay. Thank you. We have many, many more questions, and unfortunately, we are essentially out of time. So in the few minutes that we have remaining, I would like to have each of you spend 1 minute. One of the questions was, why are you running for a re-election or election? Feel free to answer that question or just give your optional final statement. Let's start with you, Mr. Gaffney. I'm sorry, Ms. Troike, sir. No, you were shaking. I didn't know if there was. Okay, go ahead, please.
Kind of like why I'm running. Being your elected Bath Township trustee has been an honor and a responsibility to which I've committed my past 4 years. During my lifetime in Bath, I've attended more township meetings than I can count. Even as a child, I attended meetings in the historic town hall when my father was a Bath Township trustee. I love Bath, have deep roots in Bath. I know and understand the challenges facing Bath. And I recognize and will continue to work for the promise of this unique community, one of the finest in Northeastern Ohio. If reelected, I will continue to be a voice for the benefit of Bath residents. Thank you very much for the opportunity to have served you these past 4 years. I ask for your vote for the next 4. I'm available afterwards if anyone has any questions, or visit my website at electgaffney.com. Thank you very much.
Ms. Troike, we'll have you go next, please.
Well, first of all, excuse me, I have loved serving this community, and that's why I want to serve another 4 years. I love our staff. I think we have the best employees in the world, truly in the world, not even in Summit County or the state of Ohio or the nation, in the world. They are dedicated. They are wonderful. There's nothing they would do for each other or for us. I love this community. I want to protect it. I'm very concerned about this push for eliminating property taxes. And I want to be here to fight that fight and go forward and see us succeed as a township, as a community. And I just love it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. McClellan.
Thank you. When I moved to Bath Township, I noticed the many heritage barns in the area. And this is what created Discover Bath Barns, was to highlight these structures. I often ask myself, why hadn't anyone else acted sooner? These barns have stood for generations, quietly telling their stories. And for years, they remained overlooked. So what made me see something more than just the building? What moved me to act when others just passed by? It's because I bring a fresh perspective. You see, while my perspective is founded on the same values, family values and community values that we all share, mine was molded and forged in the crucible of decades of hard-fought leadership successes and experiences. These skills help me approach challenges with clarity and creativity. If you're looking for a trustee with energy, experience, and fresh perspective, someone who honors the past while planning for the future, I'll be honored to earn your vote. Let's move forward together. Vote McClellan this November for leadership you can trust and a Bath Township you're proud to call home.
Thank you. To all four of our panel members, thank you very much for your thoughtful responses and thank you for your service.
Couple of things quickly. I'd like to thank all of you for your good questions. I've done this probably my 6th or 7th time. The questions tonight were excellent. I think that the 4 people that talked tonight, the trustees, you deserve another round of applause. It was excellent. Thank you. Get the cake while the way so nobody took their cake. Thank you. Very good.
All right, folks, thanks so much for tuning in tonight. So right now they're going to be obviously doing a transition. They're going to be moving from the trustees portion into the school board portion. Again, this is in Bath Township. So now we're moving into the Revere School Board portion of the evening, which I think we'll be covering that again on October 28th. If you're tuned in now, if you are any one of these townships, all you got to do is reach out, send us an email, and we'll be happy to cover whatever it is that you guys are doing. But in the meantime, there's been a lot of news over the last couple of weeks. Lots of things going on. We talked about Stark County and we kind of made a joke about it, but there's been a lot going on in Stark, but right now, our hearts are with. We have a lot of friends. We have a lot of family that are in law enforcement. So our hearts are with the family, friends, and coworkers of the state highway patrolman that lost his life today just doing his job. Just these things happen, right? So point being, we're going to keep doing our thing. We're going to keep bringing you this kind of stuff as much and as often as possible. And that's where we're at. All right. In the meantime, we brought up the whole No Kings protest stuff coming up this weekend. The reason we did that is not to promote it. It's to let you know there's going to be a lot of activity in a lot of cities across the U.S. and it will disrupt traffic. All right. So that's a heads up for the weekend. All right. I'm going back to my booth. They're getting ready to kick off here. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being a part of the 3 to Go network experience. See you in a bit.
Could we all please take our seats so we can get the next section started, please? We'd like to get the next section started. I see you all running to your seats as we speak. There we go. Now we're moving. All right, people running for school board are following the same system that we use for trustees. If you have questions, please raise your hand so we can get them written. I'd like to thank the people doing the questions. It's amazing how hard it is. One, to read your writing. Second is make sure that question, it doesn't overlap another question. It really is difficult. So please write them clearly so we can get things done, and we'll get started real quick with introductions. Uh, No, all right. We're going to start up here with Jeffrey Boulder. Bowler. I can't read from this distance. Thank you, Bowler. Thank you, Jeffrey. And we'll start with Jeffrey, 3 minutes, and then we'll go down the line and we'll get this started.
Good evening. First, a big thank you to everyone in attendance, our moderators, the Bath Homeowners Association, and of course, my fellow candidates. My origin story dates back 75 years to the 1950s when my family moved to this district. 11 of my relatives have gone through the Revere school system, including my parents, who met at Bath Elementary, dated at Revere High School, and then coincidentally got married right here at Bath Church. I graduated from Revere in 2000, went on to play college basketball, and then after living and working in Cleveland for 10 years, and then in Washington, D.C. for 6, my wife Sandra and I moved back to the community in 2022. I have 3 boys, 6 and under, who will be third-generation Minutemen. We have a very real and profound appreciation and love for this community, and specifically for the incredible public education that Revere has afforded so many members of my family. My public education and the value system I was taught growing up in this community are a big reason why I'm sitting here before you today. I was a sports executive for 15 years where I gained invaluable experience in building organizational culture, hiring talented professionals and empowering them to maximize their abilities and contributing to a common goal. I have extensive experience navigating and leading organizational growth. My experience also includes negotiating player contracts, 7-figure corporate partnership deals, and even complex collective bargaining agreements. I recruited players, hired coaches, and launched 5 expansion professional sports franchises from the ground up. But what I'm most proud of from my time in sports was my opportunity to lead, to bring people together from all different backgrounds and build belief in one another, to empower, unite, and to help tackle huge challenges. I built a 15-year career in sports by leading with integrity, honesty, hard work, grit, and a positive attitude. I've been a part of winning 5 championships across 5 different professional sports leagues, including the NBA, the NHL, the WNBA, the American Hockey League, and the Arena Football League. And the common denominator of every single one of those championship organizations, no matter how good we were, it was never good enough. We had an insatiable desire to always find ways to improve every single year. Now my professional life consists of navigating the challenges of owning a local small family business and trying to build a legacy that I can pass down to future generations. All of these experiences give me extraordinary confidence that I can meet the challenge of being a member of the Revere School Board. Revere is an incredible district with world-class teachers and administrators, but we're not perfect. And while I always believe in celebrating our accomplishments, I also firmly believe we should have robust and candid conversations about areas we can improve or build upon. Issues like mental health, school safety, effective policy creation, how we continue, expand, and improve on our educational metrics, improving our infrastructure for music, art, and athletic programs, fiscal responsibility, and rebuilding trust and unity within our community. I care deeply about the experience of my 3 boys, of course, and what they experience at Revere. But I will also pour my heart and soul into this role to ensure each and every student in our district has the opportunity to thrive and hopefully provide a runway for them to go out and change the world. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jennifer Burke. I would also like to thank the Bath Homeowners Association for hosting tonight and for the Bath Church for having us here. And thank you to all of you for coming. It's so important to have engaged voters. I graduated from Revere in 1989, grew up in Richfield down the road, and I was very, very well prepared by my Revere education to head off into college and into the real world. In fact, I remember sitting in my very, very first calculus class and thinking, gosh, this is a lot of review work, where most of my fellow students were kind of struggling. I did attend Grove City College. I did major in math. And that led me to a job in insurance. And that has been my career for over 30 years. I've mostly been involved in product development and product management. I know you probably never met somebody who has read an insurance policy. I've actually written the wording in insurance policies. It's what I've done. As far as my family goes, I actually moved to the Boston area, and that's where I met my husband of 22 years, Tom. And 11 years ago, we moved back with our 3 kids, Nora and Lillian, who are juniors, and Henry, who is an 8th grader, because Tom and I wanted to raise our kids and be parents to our kids. And when you live in Boston and in that area and you're commuting 3 hours a day, it's very, very difficult to be present. We knew when we moved back here that Revere was the ideal spot for us to raise our family and raise our kids, because we knew the quality of the education that they would get there. When we moved back, I sort of jumped right back into volunteering at the schools. I volunteered for both the Richfield PTA and the Bath PTA. I then joined an organization called Breathe, which was focused on mental health, self-regulation, resiliency, and grit. And in 2022, that organization was absorbed by Revere Schools Foundation, and I've served on the board of RSF for the last 3 years. In 2023, the Revere School Board appointed me to serve or represent Revere on the Cuyahoga Valley Career Center Board. And I have served the last 2 years as chair of the policy committee for that board. And this year I was elected vice president of that board. So my why for running for Board of Education, I love Revere. I know the great things that happen in our district, and I know the quality of the student that graduates from Revere and leaves Revere's halls. I was raised to believe in civic engagement and to give back to our communities, and I want to give back to Revere. I believe I have experience uniquely suited for this board role through my leadership roles in my career and my extensive background in policy language. And I want to continue that for the next generation of Minutemen.
Can you hear me all right? First off, I want to thank the Bath Homeowners Association, Bath Church for hosting this, all the volunteers who have helped get this thing underway, and then also to just all the candidates who are running. It's not easy to come up here and do what we're doing, so I wish you all luck and want to thank everybody for being here. My name is Hayden Haidu. I'm a 1991 graduate of Revere High School. I've been married to my wife Jennifer for 22 years. I have 4 kids. One is a graduate of Revere. She's currently a sophomore at the University of Akron. And I have 3 boys, Davis, Brady, and Carter, who are currently students at Revere High School. Over the past 5 years, I've been proud to serve Revere with dedication, transparency, and a steady focus on what matters most: our students and our community. Our board has worked hard to keep division and outside agendas out of school decisions and to ensure that we are focused on what's best for students and families. In fact, over the last 2 years, every vote but one has been unanimous, a reflection of trust, teamwork, and a shared purpose. I believe our schools are responsible for teaching our children, and parenting should be left to the parents. When each does their part, students thrive. I trust the superintendent, administrators, and teachers to lead, and my role has been to support, question when needed, and assure accountability. Together, we've achieved a 5-star district rating, 100% graduation rate, made major security upgrades, and continue to support students who are more than just students. They are excelling on the playing field, the stage, in debate, and across a dozen clubs and activities. I believe the most successful schools are the ones where students are engaged both inside and outside the classroom. I'm proud of what we've accomplished, and I'll continue to serve with integrity, transparency, and a commitment to keep Revere strong and focused on what works.
Good evening. Thank you to Bath Homeowners Association for organizing tonight's event, as well as our Bath Church here for hosting my fellow candidates, and to all of you for coming and partaking and asking questions. I'm here, obviously, hopefully to answer questions to the best of my ability for all of you. My name is Keith Malik, and I have the honor of serving on the Revere School Board. I've been doing it for 7 years now. The last 5 as the board president. My wife Ashley and I live here in Bath with my son Rogan, who's an 8th grader at the Revere Middle School, and I also have our youngest Luke, who's a 4-year-old and a future Minuteman. Serving on this board takes more than good intentions. It requires broad shoulders to stand firm under pressure, to make informed decisions and to resist being swayed by the loudest voices in the room. That kind of leadership comes from experience, consistency, and a clear vision. Let me use an analogy. Revere is like a plane flying at 30,000 feet. You don't switch pilots midair for someone still learning to fly. You stay the course with steady hands and a proven record. That's how you reach the destination. And for us, that destination is reflected in this year's motto, every student thrives. That motto is not just aspirational, it's our mission. Our students are excelling. We have a 5-star rating, 100% graduation rate, and we've ranked in the top 5% of all districts in Ohio. This success is intentional, driven by community-focused leadership. There's been recent discussion by another candidate about adding social emotional wellness curriculum at our schools. I want to be clear. I support social emotional learning, but I believe, along with our curriculum director and administration, that this should be needs-based and responsive to what students and families truly need, not one size fits all. And most importantly, it should be implemented with parental input and transparency, not a blanket mandate. The same principle applies to all curriculum. In Ohio, the state set academic standards, and our educators and curriculum experts select the material. The board's job is not to create lessons plans, it's to ensure transparency, review significant changes, and support what works best for our students. On the financial front, despite concerns about the new state level budget, vetoes, overrides, and unknowns, Revere's revenue remains strong. And finally, this campaign is different. My first two were self-funded. This time I turned to family, friends, and the Revere community. No political party funding, no personal agenda, just people who believe in the work we've done.
Thank
I'd be
you.
honored for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this first question, and we'll start down there with you, Mr. Bowler. And this comes from the student body. The students ask, how will you ensure student safety? And please share your thoughts on preventing gun violence.
Thank you. It's a great question. I think it's something that we all think about. I had a really good conversation with our SRO, and he talked a lot about the infrastructure progress that they've made in terms of technology. And I think those are all really, really important steps. The one thing that I think that we haven't thought as much about is the mental health factor of keeping our schools safe. We always, when we talk about school safety, we talk about physical safety, but we talk about the mental health of the students that are at the school. So many of these incidents we've seen around the country are happening from kids that have attend that school currently, or have attended that school at some point. They're in the community. And we need to make sure that we are providing enough services, enough support for our kids at our schools, in our community, to make sure that they are healthy and we can identify these problems very early on and not be reactive to the problems when they happen. And so I think aside from all the things that Revere has done well in terms of physical safety, I think we need to focus more on the mental health safety side. And I think that will help prevent some of these issues from happening.
Thank you. Ms. Burke?
Yes, thank you. I echo what Mr. Bowler said. I've talked to a number of people, and my number one priority is that every student walking into a building in our district feels safe to do so. From a physical safety standpoint, I've heard Officer Dressler talk at length about all of the provisions and protections that we've put in place for our students. I'm going to be honest, I do worry about the fact that our students go in and out of the building and there are no metal detectors. Not that I'm advocating for it, but I still think that's a weakness. And it goes exactly to what Mr. Bowler said, which is we're not doing enough to protect the psychological safety of our kids in those schools. And that comes from me having spoken to a number of parents who have talked to me about their kids being bullied, their kids dealing with anxiety, their kids not even, the school avoidance is a real thing. And so I want to ensure that when a kid walks in there, number one, they've identified that trusted adult that they can go to. And let's face it, our staff and our counselors are overwhelmed. It's even difficult for them to find time to be trusted adults, but our kids need to know who their trusted adult is. And they also need to be safe. They need to feel like they can be who they are and speak their minds and go about their classes without worrying about crumbling from a panic attack or being bullied by a fellow student. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Haidu, please.
Yeah, so school safety is a big issue. I think over the last 4 years, we've done a lot to address this. We've made it a top priority. I'm just going to list a few of the things that we've done to address our school safety. We did hire a second school resource officer. We implemented a uniform lockdown drills across all buildings. We installed status solutions, mobile alert systems, door alarms, and 3-layered secured entrances in every building. We added bullet-resistant window film, threat extinguishers, and security cameras covering every inch of our campus. We launched and upgraded visitor management systems to screen and track all guests. We provided active shooter and threat response training for all staff. We introduced threat assessment training and the START program for transportation staff. We've expanded our digital safety education, teaching students how to spot scams, phishing, and cyber threats. And we've strengthened our mental health and behavioral supports through PBIS, tiered interventions, and early referrals. So I think we've done a good job of security. It's been a very big priority for us. And we're always looking at ways that we can help kids who have anxiety or mental health issues or who are suffering. We're always looking for ways that we can help them. And we're currently working with our principals to find even more ways that we can help them and look for them to be able to solve problems that they have and being able to talk to the right people. Maybe they're in our school or maybe they're not, but referring them to the right people.
Thank you, Mr. Malik.
Thank you. Predicting the unknown is difficult. And, one of the things that we've ensured, or at least tried to, is making sure our students, our staff are safe when they come to the school. It's been a top priority of Revere. When we look back at when we built our new Bath Elementary as well as the high school, we ensured that we had new vestibules put in, as well as our old schools, Richfield and the middle school. And those vestibules included new security enhancements. We also recently, in conjunction with the Revere Schools Foundation, hired a second resource officer. That allowed Officer Dressler to focus on 2 schools and our new resource officer to focus on 2 schools. That was a huge development for us and somewhat of a sense of relief because now we have more officers in addition to our cooperation with the Bath Police Department and the Richfield Police Department and the Summit County Sheriff's Office. We've also encouraged our students to adhere to the see something, say something principle. And that's to encourage their vigilance in looking around. And if they see something, they let people know. As far as gun violence, obviously that's something that we see nationwide. Unfortunately, I can't sit here and predict what's going to happen, if it might happen. But what we try to do is be proactive. We have our school resources officers always on campus to ensure that our students get to know them and feel safe. And some safety is a shared responsibility with us and our community. Thank you.
Thank you. This next question, we'll start with you, Ms. Burke. What is your opinion of policy 6.51, which is the electronic communication devices restriction?
Yeah, the cell phone policy, which is mandated by the state. I think it's probably a good move for the schools to restrict use. I know that what my kids would tell me when they would come home from school is different teachers had different rules in their classrooms for how it was used. We struggled with electronics use during the school day in our house and had those conversations. I do have concerns about kids who need to have their cell phones with them, either for medical purposes or just for that security and safety. The policy, I gave Superintendent White a lot of feedback on the policy and ways that thought it could be strengthened. He's committed to reviewing that policy once a year. And I think that that's a good plan, that we take a look at it once a year, see how it's playing out in the schools. Mr. Ferris reports that there's been tremendous talking in the cafeteria, that there's a lot more socialization, that everybody has benefited widely from the cell phone use being reduced. I also know that there is a little secret Instagram account where somebody uses their iPad to take pictures of violators of that policy, which I find hilarious. But anyway, electronics, cell phones, all of that, they can be addictive. I think totally appropriate for them not to be in the classroom and for teachers to focus on experiential learning and making sure that our kids are not distracted by the device that's sitting in their pocket.
Thank you. Mr. Haidu, please.
You asked what my opinion was, or?
Your opinion of that policy.
So I was in favor of it, but I don't have an opinion, but I think overall feeling comes directly from the feedback from our principals and teachers. Mr. Ferris has said it's working really well. I've heard the same comments that, our lunchroom is louder than it's ever been. Students seem to be more engaged in class. I think the three people that were the most mad about the cell phone policy were my three boys. They were not happy with it. And I can tell you that overall, they've seemed very happy. I know there's been a lot more conversations in the lunchroom. I know they're having conversations with people that they wouldn't necessarily have, because now they're probably tired of talking to the 7 kids they've been talking to at lunch. So they're veering off and meeting new friends. And I also think it's really good for like the mental health piece. I think it's good to put your cell phone down and talk to people and have conversations. I think, part of the thing we've talked about is, or they've talked about, is bullying. I mean, it's sometimes it's easier to say things and be mean when you're texting instead of having a conversation. So I think overall it's been an extremely positive experience, from what I've heard. And like I said, from my own kids who were not happy with me, their overall opinion and kind of what they've gone through, they said it's actually working really well. So I'm always a big fan of taking away the technology and letting kids be kids and having real conversations.
Thank you. Mr. Bowler, how about you next, please, on this same question about your opinion of the cell phone policy?
Yeah, I would agree on putting the cell phones down. I think our kids are growing up in a difficult time, and they are on their phones a lot, and there's social media, and there's disinformation, and there's misinformation. And I think anytime our kids and anytime all of us can put our cell phones down, I have done this exercise where what's my life like when I put my phone away and I reconnect with my family in a different way when I don't always have my cell phone in my hand, and my brain is not developing like a teenager or a child is. So I think anytime we can take the opportunity to put our phones down, I think especially for our kids, that's going to be a good thing. I do think it also, it speaks to the type of policy and how we pass policy. I think our policy has to be nuanced. As Jen said, when we pass policy, we need to consider all of our students, and there has to be exceptions and nuance to policy. There are some students for medical reasons that do need more access to their cell phones. So I think it's important as we're passing any fundamentally changing policy that we consider all of those things. And I think our superintendent, Mr. White, did a very good job when he passed this policy, when our board passed this policy, of reaching out to the community and getting feedback on how do you feel about this. And I think that's critically important when we're passing big policies like this, that the community is going to be passionate about, that are going to change the experience of our kids. We need to reach out and get the opinions of our parents, our students, our teachers, everybody, to make sure that we're passing the right policy. And then I think it's important, after we pass a policy like this, after 6 months, after a year, then we reach back out to the parents. We reach out to the kids. We talk to the teachers. How is it going? What's working? What's not? So we can reassess whether that policy is really doing its job or we need to make adjustments as we move forward.
Thank you. And Mr. Mel.
I was in favor of the policy, and I think it's doing great. When you look at our students, I know when we were discussing the policy, we had a few come to our meeting to show their opposition to the policy. But I think I look back at when I was in school, I didn't have cell phones. I don't know if anybody up here, well, I'm probably one of the oldest ones up here. So I got along just fine. And we have to remember what schools are for. Schools are for teaching. And we are proponents of electronic means by which our students can use. And that's why we supply them with iPads. So anything that is on the cell phone typically can be used through the iPad. And what we have found with cell phones, and I think why the state mandated that we eliminate them, is the negative impact that they had on a lot of our children's lives. Social media can be dangerous, as we know as adults. There's a lot of hate out there, and there's bullying. There's kids that'll take photos and send them to others, or kids will take photos of themselves and send them to people. Those are all things that we want to try to avoid. And I think by eliminating that during the day, it allows our teachers to focus on what's important, and that's teaching, and to eliminate the need to worry about if somebody is using their cell phone, or if they're trying to use AI during a class, when their iPads are supposed to be down. There's a multitude of reasons as to why I think this is a good policy. So I'm a strong proponent of keeping the cell phones out of our schools. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For this next question, we'll start with you, Mr. Haidu. And if our timers will just limit the answers to 1 minute for this one, please. Would you support having transgendered or ungendered bathrooms in the Revere schools? Mr. Haidu.
No, I would not support that.
Do you want to elaborate, or?
I mean, I just think that we have a family bathroom that kids can use, and I think that the boys' bathroom should be for boys and the girls' bathrooms should be for girls. And I just think that it crosses a line that I'm not comfortable with. So I would say no.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Burke, would you care to answer that question, please?
Happily. I know where the majority of the single stall bathrooms are in all of our schools. And I believe that if there's a student that feels uncomfortable using the bathroom of their sex assigned at birth, they should be accommodated to be able to have permission to use a single stall bathroom in our schools. Thank you.
Mr. Bowler.
Yeah, I would support the single stall conversation as well. And I think, listen, these issues are being used to manipulate and polarize all of us. And I think on these hot button issues that it's important that we sit down and have honest conversations with each other. And that can't be done on the internet or social media. We have to sit down and look each other in the eye and say, we are here to make sure that every single student at our schools has a comfortable and safe experience. How do we do that? Well, the adults have to get together, ensure that we do that, and find solutions to make sure that every kid that walks into our schools has the experiences that they deserve. They're not ostracized. They're not made to feel less than human. And we figure out what's the best solution that is right for our community and right for our school.
Thank you. Mr.
Malik.
Malik, yes.
In our schools, I believe in protecting all students from bullying and mistreatment, period. No child should ever have to feel unsafe. But I don't believe that anyone should receive special treatment based upon how they identify. Boys should play boys sports and use boys bathrooms. And girls should play girls sports and use girls restrooms. That's not discrimination. To me, it's biology, it's fairness, and it's my position. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This next question, we'll start with you, Mr. Bowler. As a board member, what will you do to bring back trust and transparency in the board as it relates to the public outcry related to the LifeWise decision? Please state your position on releasing students for religious education during the school day and elaborate on why. This is a 2-minute answer.
Okay, so public schools are required to have a religious release policy that allows students, the parents to take their students out for religious reasons. So what I would say is that in order to rebuild trust, and I've heard this a lot as I've been out knocking on doors since I started this campaign, one of the major issues and one of the things that's most consistent that I hear is that there is a trust issue. And I think the way that you restore that is by the way that you pass policy. And when you are going to pass a policy that will fundamentally change the experience or something in your school district, I think it is in good faith you must reach out to the community and get their opinion. I don't think that when you get elected to this position that it stops there. I think that's one half of the equation, but you still have to listen to the voices that elected you once you're on the school board. And so when you're passing policy, major policy, I think it's extremely important to listen to the people in the community and get their input before any major policy is passed. And I think that will go a long way in ensuring that when a policy is passed, the voices of our community feel like they have been heard, and that policy is representative of how they feel.
Thank you. Let's move on to you, Mr. Malik.
Thank you for the question. I supported the adoption of the release time for religious instruction policy after parents in our community reached out to our superintendent regarding it. The state had a law which allowed for it, and we put it into place. We took a thoughtful approach to it. We were transparent. We held a first and a second reading, which allowed for our parents to come in, talk about it, offer their opinion. One of the things that we can't do as a board is anticipate what might be important for one person is also going to be important for another. Every meeting, we are discussing things for our district, and we're hopeful that people participate in those meetings. Our turnout is similar to what the township's turnouts are. They're minimal, unless there's a hot topic, and this was one of those hot topics. But people didn't really come out until after the fact. And I've met with several people who were part of the anti-LifeWise group for hours. I took the time to meet with them, to talk to them, to listen to their concerns. And one of the things I told them is it's a good chance the state is going to mandate this, and that you should argue to the state. And they said they would. I don't know if they did or not. The state ended up making this mandatory. We had already, through our careful consideration, listening to the community, not only passed the policy, but made modifications. And then once it did pass, our policy was sound, and we didn't have to make any additional modifications. So I will continue to ensure that the policies that we do create, we do have the opportunity for our parents to interject and to offer their opinions. And I encourage them to attend our meetings to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Burke, would you please weigh in on this question?
Yeah, so I will actually start with what will I do as a board member to bring back trust and transparency? And I think speaking to this issue in particular, it's bringing back the policy committee and making it an open meeting where the public can attend, and even considering appointing a member of the community to sit on the committee and advise from their perspective. I think that what we ended up with here was the community did not understand how the policy came to be, why the policy was set, and it was passed with a second read before anybody even knew what was going on. As far as my position on release time for religious instruction, the Supreme Court ruling allows parents to remove their child during the school day for religious instruction. And so when Revere was approached with a number of parents who had asked for that, it was the school board's responsibility to set a policy to protect the district and to protect the students. The policy didn't go far enough. Clearly, there wasn't due diligence done in exploring what other districts were doing and what policies they were setting for the same organization. And when those concerns were raised, the board sat on it and there was no action taken. And I think the community felt like they weren't being heard and they weren't having a say in the policy that was being set. So I absolutely fully believe in transparency and collaboration with the community, especially for something as sensitive as removing children from the school during the school day. And I think Mr. White has done a great job in inviting that type of collaboration on both the Parents' Bill of Rights and the cell phone policy that have been implemented since that time.
Thank you. And I think that leaves you, Mr. Hyden. Okay, thank you.
So I was in favor of the release time. I see signs up that say Parents Against LifeWise. I never voted for LifeWise. I never talked to anyone from LifeWise. I was never approached by anyone from LifeWise. There were public records requests, thousands made. If we had communicated with them, we hadn't. We've been transparent in all of our meetings from, our work sessions are now live streamed. Our board meetings are live streamed. I want the parents to have a right to choose. And that was why I voted for the release time. No different than in our campaign night a week ago, we talked about curriculum. And there was a question about curriculum. And I don't know if it was Jen or Jeff, but they said, well, if you don't want to partake in the curriculum, you can just opt out, right? Well, this is no different, except you're opting in. So if you don't want to be a part of the religious release time, you don't have to be. And I want to leave that up to the parents. So I think our policy right now is actually stricter than some other policies. We knew it was coming down from the state, so we got in front of it, but we weren't voting on a LifeWise issue. We were voting on release time for any religious organization that wants to meet with kids during, I believe it's lunch and recess and bring them back. So that can be whether you're Jewish, Catholic, Muslim, Hindu, it's for any religion across the board. So that's where I stand.
Thank you. This next question, we'll just have a 1-minute response if we could from each of our candidates. Let's start with you, Mr. Bowler. Can you share with the audience the total cost of your campaign thus far and whether you've received any external funding or contributions from political parties or organizations affiliated with political parties? If so, how do you ensure that decisions as a board member remain independent and in the best interest of the community?
Yes, so that's a great question. And this was a fundamental principle of agreeing to do this, that I was not going to take a single penny from any political organization or affiliated political organization. Frankly, I am disgusted by the political world as it stands today. And I don't think it's representative of me or most of us in this country. And I want to be somebody on the board that the constituents can feel that will truly be objective. That is really important to me. And I would not have done this had that not been the case. I've raised about $12,000, and that has been 100% from my friends, my family, and people in this community that believe in my heart, believe in my mission and what I want to do for these schools. And I'm really proud of that number because it has not had a significant donation from any of those political parties or affiliated groups.
Thank you. Mr. Haidu, would you answer that question for us, please?
I also have not received a penny from any political organization. I have done a grassroots campaign and asked for donations. I have called people. I have met with them in their homes. I have emailed people. I have used the phones. I've gone to people that I know, but I have not received one dime from any political organization. So I feel very confident and comfortable with that.
And the cost of your campaign so far?
I've raised about roughly $16,000.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Burke?
Yep. I actually don't know the number. Our reports aren't due till the 23rd. But I believe I've raised somewhere in the neighborhood just shy of $10,000 from an enormous number of donors. So thank you to anybody if you were a donor. I have also not accepted any money or any endorsement or any support whatsoever from any political party. And that is really important to me because, as I said at last week's candidate night, if I align myself with any one ideology or political party or anything, I close myself off to hearing from the entire community and from hearing everybody's story and from hearing everybody's concerns and what they want for our schools.
Thank you. And Mr. Malik, you're on.
Thank you. So my first two campaigns were self-funded, and this one's a little different. Obviously, when you hear the numbers up here, there's a lot of money being spent for the Revere School Board. I am a little bit behind everybody. I've raised approximately $8,000, and I've not had any donations from any political parties, any PACs. I can tell you that all the money I have raised has been from family, friends, and our community. I've been lucky enough to have a couple of fundraisers by some community members. I've had some generous family members, and I've also funded that campaign myself. So that's where I'm at, and I'm a little bit in shock as the amount of money that the school board candidates are spending. So a couple years ago, I spent less than 2,000, or 4 years ago. So times have changed.
Thank you. This next question, because we are getting short on time, we'll just spend a minute, and we will start with you, Mr. Haidu. Parents are permitted to opt out of health education for their children. There are units in that curriculum which instruct children experiencing abuse on strategies to seek protection from their abusers. What steps would you take to make sure all Revere's children have the information they need to protect themselves from abuse, even from within their family?
Can you slow that down a little?
Sorry. Okay. Parents are permitted to opt out of health education for their children. There are units in that curriculum, the health education curriculum, which instruct children experiencing abuse on strategies to seek protection from their abusers. What steps would you take to make sure all Revere's children have the information they need to protect themselves from abuse, even from within their families? You'll just spend a minute to answer.
That's a good question. So you're saying that parents can opt out. Well, I think number one, I think we do some of this at the middle school level, where during health education, I think we talk about this, but I think it's teachers building trust with the students. I think our students feeling like they can go talk to counselors. And I think you're in a tricky situation because you don't want to have conversations with kids where other people would find out. So I don't know what the right answer is, but I don't know what the right answer is for that. But I do think that we have really great counselors and great teachers in place that I hope are looking for solutions to help those families.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on down to you, Mr. Bowler.
Okay, so mental health is an issue. Jen and I talk about this every single day as we are out on the campaign trail, and it is brought up about as often as everything except for maybe LifeWise. I think the first thing is evaluating all of our buildings and ensuring that we have robust mental health support for our kids. Counselors are not mental health specialists, and mental health specialists are not counselors. And I think we need to ensure that in each and every building, the students feel like they have the resources. If they have a problem, that they have somebody that they can go to discuss that specific problem. So I think that is a big part of making sure that our kids feel safe in school. The other part of it is a holistic approach to education. Mental health is not just about sitting down and talking about your issues with someone. It's about the food that you put in your body. It's about physical exercise. It's about your overall education. It's about what's happening at home. And I think those are all things we have to consider as we're considering the mental health of our kids in the schools.
Thank you, Mr. Malik.
Thank you. The question was about abuse, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And health education that parents may opt out.
Yeah. So as far as abuse goes, our teachers, our administrators, we're mandatory reporters. I have to give credit to our teachers, our administrators for taking time to get to know our students. Once our students get to high school, they built a story, and they've had the opportunity to meet not only our teachers and some of our administrators, but their counselors as well. And over time, they get to know these students. And I think that by getting to know the students, they're also getting to understand their lifestyle, what's going on at home, and if they're noticing any abuse. Okay. And as being mandatory reporters, I trust our administrators, our teachers to do that. And, I don't know that health class will teach them anything more to help them as far as dealing with abuse other than who to tell.
Okay, thank you very much. We have so many more questions and unfortunately not any more time for those. Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Okay, Ms. Berg.
Yes, thank you. Um, Listen, I think that absolutely abuse education is so critically important for our students. And I wish we could educate all of our students on that. But ultimately, parents have the final say on their children's education and how they're educated and whether or not they are opted out of that type of education. As Mr. Malik said, all of our teachers, counselors, administrators are mandatory reporters. And I will just stress again, this is why it is so, so very important that our kids understand what a trusted adult is, how to identify a trusted adult, and how to use that trusted adult if they need to talk to somebody that they don't feel comfortable speaking to their parents, their peers, or other adults about. Thank you.
Thank you. And at this point in time, I think we'll do our final statements. And let's start with you, Mr. Malik, and we'll just work our way down the table.
Thank you all, and thank you for participating. Your time and consideration has been extraordinary tonight. And I didn't hear any cell phones while we were up here. My leadership, it's always about the people. It's about making sure that every student thrives academically, emotionally, and safely. Serving on this board requires broad shoulders, the ability to stay steady under pressure, tune out distractions, and keep the focus where it belongs, on our students. Revere is a high-performing district, like a plane flying through a cruising altitude. We have a clear destination, and now is not the time to hand over those controls to somebody without a proven record. I bring steady hands, including a proven record of experience and results. If you want to keep Revere strong, safe, and successful, I respectfully ask for your vote on November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hayden?
I think they're confused here because I heard them talking while.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, so 1 minute wrap up. Yes, that's okay.
I was paying attention to you, Hannah.
Look, I've already got 30 seconds left.
Uh-oh. Talk fast, Mr. Hayden. Okay.
So tonight we've heard a lot of perspectives, and that's a healthy part of the democratic process. At the end of the day, we all want the same thing, what's best for our kids. That's been my focus since day one of being on the board, and it drives every decision I make. This job is more than just going to 2 meetings a month. It's about showing up for our students, our staff, and our families. I make it a priority to be present, to listen, and stay connected. My greatest ability is my accessibility, because no one will work harder to support our students and the people who make Revere what it is. This election matters. Do we want to stay on the path of steady, proven leadership, or risk undoing the progress that's made Revere a 5-star district with a 100% graduation rate? I'm proud of what we've built together. I'll keep working hard every day to keep Revere strong, stable, and focused on what works. On November 4th, I ask for your vote to reelect Hayden Haidu and keep Revere moving in the right direction.
Thank you. Ms. Burke?
I am a proud Revere alumna and a parent of current Revere students, which gives me both a deep connection to our schools and a personal stake in their future. Since 2020, I have attended nearly 120 Board of Education meetings, gaining insight into the challenges and the opportunities facing our district. My experience on the board for CVCC has strengthened my experience in governance, policy, and collaboration. I am motivated to serve on the Revere School Board because I believe every child deserves a safe, supportive, and challenging learning environment that prepares them to find their path to success. I've seen firsthand the strengths of our district and the opportunities that we have to grow. My priorities include ensuring data-driven decisions that support all students, maintaining safe, modern facilities, strengthening communication and collaboration with families and the community, and being a responsible steward of taxpayer resources. By focusing on student success, fiscal responsibility, and community engagement, I will work to keep Revere strong now and for the future. Every decision I make will be focused on what best serves students and families while continuing Revere's tradition of excellence. Thank you, and please vote for me on November 4th.
Thank you. Mr. Bowler?
The role of a board member is twofold. We hire and oversee the superintendent and treasurer and make sure they are accountable to the responsibilities of those roles. That requires the superintendent being empowered to establish the culture in our buildings and for our district, along with a long-term strategic vision for Revere. in partnership with our treasurer, who will ensure that we're both fiscally responsible while also making thoughtful decisions on how to spend your taxpayer investments to improve outcomes for every student. The other critical and equally important role of a board member is to review current policy and to vote on any proposed policy changes. Both of these responsibilities require objective and confident leadership, not influenced by political bias, personal agendas, or ideologies. All equally important to protect the district from unnecessary lawsuits, excessive spending, and the depletion of resources. I believe my skill set and background make me uniquely qualified to successfully navigate those responsibilities. I also believe that earning your vote is only one half of the equation. I want to be a board member that continues to listen and proactively solicits feedback from the community to ensure that when I make a decision, I will be doing so in good faith, with transparency, and truly representative of the voices that elected me. This is not hyperbole when I say this, and I say this often, but I truly believe we can all make the world a better place in our little corners of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, people who are running for the school board. I failed to introduce this young lady next to me. Her name is Claire Pacalilli. Young lady. When you're my age, everybody's a young lady. We tried to have a fair and unbiased meeting tonight, so Claire volunteered to be the moderator. She does not live in Bath. She's not a member of Bath Homeowners Association. She lives in Richfield. Lifelong Buckeye fan. Retired. She has 2 children grown and 2 grandchildren, none of which go to Revere school systems. So she truly has tried to be unbiased and give an open meeting to our people, and I think I appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
And we have some.
And it was my pleasure to be here with you tonight. And I apologize for my couple of misses there, but thank you, and thank you all for your volunteerism, for your community service, and for what you do for the Revere School District. Thank you.
We are finished. Other than thanking the people here at the Homeowners Association that have worked, we have, of course, the president's got to have one more thing to say.
Great. So they will take it towards their cycle. Second, please vote. Vote on election day or time. And 3, this is a request because violate to once the elections are settled, please go and move your political candidates out from the streets. Even if you didn't put it there, if you were a candidate and you still your signs, please remove it. That way they have to be rural and beautiful.
And please, if you're not a member of Bath Homeowners, fill out a card and join us. $10 bucks. Yeah.